On today's shave, we have the Stirling Soap Company. This is the, I think it's a 26 millimeter Badger brush. This is their finest Badger. This is one that's often recommended in many of the support forums and stuff online, Reddit subs and things like that, because it's a great price point, and it is a Badger that performs really high relative to that. And so it's a great budget buy, is what so many people are saying. And I have always recommended it in secondhand, saying a lot of people are recommending this one for people who ask for new advice. And so I found one on sale. This is what Stirling rates as a shedder. It's in their factory seconds department. Apparently they do kind of a comb of the brush, and they, if a certain number of hairs fall out or more, then they rate it as a shedder and put it in a factory seconds pile. Obviously they don't know whether it's going to keep shedding or whether it's going to shed for a little while and stop. And so they just don't play the gamble. They don't want to sell anybody one that's going to keep shedding. And so this is marketed as a shedder. So we're going to see. At the very least, it will give me a great idea as to how this Badger performs. I've had it soaking for a few hours since this is my first use, and it has softened up quite a bit because of that. And so this particular brush does seem to change if you soak it. All right. And the razor we're going to use is this Christopher Bradley by Karve. And we've got the A plate on it. I wanted a nice, smooth, mild shave. And the A actually cuts really well too, efficiently. And what am I going to put in that mild head? I'm going to start using up my feather. Feather is one that can sometimes go a really long way in terms of a marathon. So let's just start it up. I've already got 6 shaves on this one. So let's put another one on it. With Christopher Bradley, just a quick turn like most 3-piece razors, and we will set it down. And these 2 pins on the left and right there keep it perfectly aligned with every blade I've ever put in this razor. Been great. Now a hand tighten. This is a brass razor. It's bead blasted. You can see it's not polished. And so far I really like that. Now I do think they're gorgeous when I've seen online how people polish them, but I'm holding off. I kind of like this. We'll see. So we got a nice sharp blade in there. And the soap we're going to use is Stirling Blu. I chose a Stirling soap because we have a Stirling brush that I'm trying out. I have not tried out this soap, but of course it's the Stirling base. I've tried out many of those. Wonderful, slick, excellent soap. Great for your money because you get 5.8 ounces for what you pay other soaps to get 3 or 4 ounces. So pretty nice. I didn't read the write-up on this scent or anything. Stirling Blu. I assume what this is, and this is what it smells like, that aqua velva blue type scent. Barrister and Man has their Reserve Cool. It's a classic blue scent that's just been around for decades, and that's what it smells like. All right, told you about everything. Everything's in place. Got a little tickle in my throat if I cough and stuff. I'm really sorry. All right, I'm going to splash my face with water, and then we'll start building lather. All right, as usual, I am dealing with hard water, and this is the winter, and so it's cold. I'm going to shake most of the water out of the brush. I haven't really liked this shape of brush handle before, but this is kind of big, and so we'll just have to see how it works out. It might be just fine. Soap has not been soaked at all, So let's do a 30-second load, and the 0 mark is there. This knot was really quite stiff when I first got it. I could kind of bounce it into my opposite palm while holding it, and it would be very stiff. I was kind of concerned, and so now that I have soaked it for a little while, I'm really happy about that. On their website, they also show, and 30 seconds. They also show some other factory seconds, like the fan brush. I really like the bulb type shape, or the hybrid fan bulb shape, better than just the fan by itself. And so that's why I picked up a handle that I wasn't a super big fan of, because I wanted mainly the knot. So if this handle works out, then great. Otherwise, I can break off the handle and put this nice knot in a handle that is more ergonomic for me. All right, now we're going to take the lather bowl and just start working it. Yeah, nice scent. Because of the shortness of the handle, you can see how, I mean, it's really, you don't get as much leverage when you're up here, so some finger has to kind of be down close to the knot there, and so that, there's a chance to have it get soapy if you're a bowl latherer. And so it could be this handle is more suited for a face latherer. Okay, so what we've got is a pretty consistent paste here. Now it's time to go ahead and start adding the water. And I know I'm going to need more than 1 teaspoon, so I'm going to go ahead and just add a teaspoon there. Once you figure out a soap that you really enjoy and you use that base a lot, you can then, one nice shortcut is to start leaving a little bit more water in it. I shake most of my water out, but you start leaving a little bit more water in it, and then it takes less time to build the lather. Even with a normal brush that's not classified as a shedder, it's okay if you get 30, 40, 50 bristles in the first month, or I wouldn't actually be upset with twice that. But after that first month or so, it really should quickly decline if you've got a proper brush. If it still stays at that rate, then you've probably got a defective brush. And we'll go ahead and add, why don't we just go ahead and add the other teaspoon. Got a feeling we'll need it. Nice scent coming up from the tub. Not really liking this handle right now. It's not comfortable to hold. At least I haven't found a good grip yet. Especially when wet. Pretty traditionally shaped handle, but I guess it's just not quite for me. Maybe my hands are too big. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't found the right grip. Excuse me. Lather looks great. Show you what we're doing here. Look at that. Very nice. This is the first use of this brush. And I believe that let's just mix a little bit more. Don't have a lot of quantity right now. Let's kind of mix it till it kind of stabilizes and we can see whether it's going to grow or not. There we go. I pushed some of the lather out of the brush knot. This will, look at that, it'll hold a chunk of lather. Little oil dispelling pre-shave soap, if you will. Let's add some more water. Another half teaspoon. If you haven't heard of Stirling Samples, it's a really neat program. They give you almost enough soap to last a whole month of shaves for just a few dollars, and it's a great way to try out a scent, see if you like it. I mean, you could live off the samples if you bought 4 samples for about $12. Then that's 4 months of shaving, and where you could just go flip back and forth between any of the 4 scents. So that's pretty cool. This brush is really holding all this lather inside of it nicely. How does it look? Let's add just a little more water. And then we might be ready to go. I should know my ratio for Stirling by now. I like a lot of their scents, and so I should know that one. So now let's do a finger test. Pull out a little clod, a little bit of resistance, nice slickness. I can just barely feel the ridges on my fingertips, my fingerprints. Let's go ahead and use this. Why not? All right. And splash my face one more time. All right, definitely one of those traditional scents. Let's see how this brush works. Some badgers are a little hesitant to release their lather. So let's see how this guy acts. pretty dense brush. The feel is really soft, not prickly at all. Still don't like this handle. Not my style. Not giving me a very good grip. I'm having to really work hard to stay hold of it. And I believe what happened was I had a good bit of water in the brush that didn't really combine with soap to make the lather. And so when I took the brush and started putting on that first bit of lather, it released some of that water. And so then that kind of quenched the lather, if you will. But no big. That's why I've got a bowl of lather right here. Just go back, get a little bit more lather, bring it up here. Also start painting from side to side, and that will kind of call down the lather that's on the side of the brush. Feels really good. Nice scent on this one. You know, 5 out of 10 for scent strength. Very enjoyable if you like the blue type scent. Man, I hate this handle. All right. Non-shaveable area right there. All right, feather blade, let's go. No tugging, no irritation here. Cutting through really nicely. Now those guys who have skin that is just not very sensitive can just take a feather or other kind of tricky, aggressive type blade and shave with it, maybe even in an aggressive razor. Feathers definitely cut me up when I tried to use them in the beginning of my wet shaving journey. It took a good period of time before my technique was good enough where I could use them without cutting myself. But that did happen. And they're not a problem for me in, pretty much any razor. Except my most aggressive ones. But for those of us who can't enjoy feathers in the aggressive razors and get this crazy close cuts and things like that, one thing sometimes we can enjoy is a mild razor that has a feather in it, because it's more mild, less aggressive, the blade is exposed less, but that edge is still cutting really well, and that's why I chose the A head for the Christopher Bradley today. And it worked exactly like I thought it would. Really nice, comfortable, smooth shave, but it's cutting very nicely. And rinse. All right, I'm curious how that second pass is going to go. Jab the brush down into the lather. I'm not really causing it to splay very much, just to kind of fill up the inside of the brush with the lather. Very nice brush. Well, I'm glad I'm recommending this one, or, I'm passing it on to other people and saying a lot of people like these, because this is very nice. Smooth, very soft tips. To me, the backbone is fine. It's not too much backbone. I was concerned with that. happy with it. So I'll likely find another handle to put this knot in, but very nice. Second pass. Just kind of slicing through like butter. Very slick, which is typical for Stirling. Razor is just moving and gliding across the skin with ease. Nice. All right, rinse again. Man, that just rinse was so creamy and slick and luxurious. Super nice. Way to go, Stirling. Now, third pass. This handle really makes me work to hold on to this brush. Well, I have experienced other brushes that shed many, many more bristles than this on their first use. And I'm talking badgers, not just boars. So it seems like this guy, I lucked out and got one that just was a kind of introductory shedder and not one that's going to be habitual. Third pass. No irritation. But if I play my cards right, I won't even have to come back here and do a yeah, that's tremendous. I bet I don't even need to do a touch-up in my trouble spot right there. This blade is just a good cutter. Now, you know, that's all subjective. Blades are just different for each person. But a lot of people do find the feathers to be really sharp cutters, and some people don't, but I think a lot of people do. All right, I think we're done. Happy with that. So in my trouble spot, I just see the tips. I just see dots. I don't see any length on any of those, and that is way above average for me. Really happy with that. All right. No irritation at all. Very, very comfortable shave with a blade that at the very beginning used to rough me up. About 3 cuts per shave was my average in the beginning with the feather. Of course, it wasn't with a razor as nice as this one. It was with a razor that kind of let the feather hang off a little bit, like the Jagger DE89, that kind of thing. Where this guy right here, he and others like him, look how close it clamps down to the blade edge. You know, here's the blade edge, And then you've got support from the bottom and top, vicing down, clamping down so that edge is kept stable, but as stable as you're going to get. And so that's just, to me, it makes all the difference in the world. All right. That's a good shave. Let's see what kind of post shave I have down there. I don't have an exact match because my wife doesn't really like that aqua velva blue type scent. And so that's why I enjoy it when it's a soap. But then that's temporary, and at the end of the shave, today I'm going to throw on some Dr. John's Blood Oath, a blood orange mix with some spices, I believe. Make sure I need to see if I need to shake that out here. I like his stuff. Very nice. That cap, is that cap on tight? I think it must have gotten squished or something. I'll have to check that out later. All right, there we go. Excellent, excellent shave. I was actually not thinking that this brush was going to be this good. Now, you know, there were kind of the water issues, like with it putting on a really thin layer at first, and I kept having to add. And so there'll probably be some work, some study involved in using this one really wisely. Maybe it's just a matter of, you know, pushing down really hard in the bowl while I'm mixing, so that extra water that's in the brush, that's deep in those, when you've got one that's just got so much density here. Here, let's pull off this good stuff. There we go. That's some extra creamy richness right there. So when you've got just such good density, look how thick the brush is. And you've got a lot of places for water to hide. Now, one way to mitigate this is not to soak it for an hour and a half before the shave. Normally I never do that with badgers. I did it just today because it was the first time I was using this one. So likely I'll treat it just like the rest of my badgers, and just a 3-minute soak or something like that. These tips just feel terrific. Really nice. I don't know if they're going to gel or not, but I kind of hope they don't, because these feel great. Just really happy with this knot. I can't wait to bust it up and put it into a nice handle. How much water did we use this time? I think I refilled just once, and so that would mean about 3 teaspoons for the 30-second soak. And it's looking like it was pretty much perfect, because the bowl is pretty much empty, and you saw I probably had a pass. I probably could have pulled off a pass from the lather that was in there. So good stuff. Good stuff. And I like the blue. It's a nice scent. I probably like Barrister Man Cool a little better, but for this you get almost as good of a performance at about half the cost, which is just amazing. And one thing I do is I don't want those threads to get all soapy and stuff, so I'll just kind of run that over my towel like that. Now he's ready to be sealed up. Stirling Blu. Feather did amazingly well. So this was the 7th shave, it looks like. So when this brush and handle is dry, it actually provides a pretty good grip. And this is kind of the grip that I used. Thumb kind of in a diagonal. The finger kind of follows around this concave round part. and then the pointy finger is just up along, providing stability that way. When it's dry, very nice to hold. But when it's wet, all that friction is not available to you to stably hold it, and you really have to work with your hands to do it. So I'll have to look for a handle to put this in. But I am just blown away by the knot. And this is just the first use of it. It's going to splay and open up even more, and it's just terrific. And look at the density there. I stropped it on the towel, and so it's just chock full of hairs. If you buy a badger knot like this, and you have one like this one, and you see all these other expensive badgers, really, this is really, really good. Yeah, I think it definitely competes with some badgers that I'm thinking about at the $100 and $130 price point. And I got this one for $18, I think, because it's a factory second. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, we're good. Everything's packed up. Really happy with so many aspects of this shave. I enjoyed the traditional blue scent of the soap. The soap performance was excellent as usual. The combination of the sharp feather, the aggressive feather, and the mild A-plate on the Christopher Bradley was just wonderful to experience. And the brush, an amazing surprise at how good that is. If I had to only use that brush, assuming I found a better handle, I would be happy for the rest of my life if all the other brushes died in some kind of weird scenario. So it's that good, very enjoyable. So excellent, excellent. All right. I believe we're good for tonight. I hope there was something here for you. You take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.